Buenos días. Vamos a hablar hoy de dos verbos nuevos. Dos verbos nuevos que son los verbos tener y venir. Tener y venir son dos verbos muy importantes. Tener es un verbo que usamos mucho, más que nada para expresar la idea de poseer algo. Y venir es un verbo que expresa la emoción, el movimiento, digamos. Y sí, son verbos muy importantes. Son dos verbos un poco irregulares. No son verbos regulares, son verbos un poco irregulares y son verbos muy similares. ¿Vale? Today we're going to be discussing two new verbs, tener and venir. Tener and venir are very important verbs. Tener means to have, venir means to come. Tener is a verb that you're going to see we're going to use quite a bit in Spanish for many different uses. They are both irregular verbs. They are irregular in very similar manners. So, I'll just put a little sentence up in here to introduce it. Yo vengo a pie porque no tengo coche. And this means I come by foot or I come walking because I don't have a car. Okay, so this is the first verb we're going to look at, venir. And this is the verb tener. Now, let's look at how these verbs are irregular. It's important when studying verbs like this to try to study them together because they're so similar. You're going to see that it really makes sense to learn them together. Okay, so I'll start with venir. Remember that venir means to come. The yo form, which you've already seen in that example a minute ago, is vengo. Vengo. Notice that G-O ending. Yo vengo, I come. The tu form is going to look very strange to you. We have what is called here a stem change. Meaning, normally when we conjugate a verb, we take our IR off of it, or our ER or AR, and we add this series of endings that all go on to that stem. Sometimes that stem changes on us. In this case, that stem has changed and it is now an IE, where you would expect it just to be an E, so be very careful with that. The verb is not venes, but vienes. We'll continue to see that change here with viene, as well as here with vienen. Okay, so vengo, vienes, viene, and we have vienen down here in the ellos position. Up here, that change will not occur. So venimos and venís. So what you're seeing are four irregular forms of the verb, and these two are regular. Venimos and venís are regular. So you can repeat them after me. Venir. Vengo, vienes, viene, venimos, venís, vienen. Okay. Tener is a very similar word. Tener means to have. Our yo form will be tengo, just like vengo. Our tu form will be tienes, just like vienes. Our él, ella, usted form will be tiene. And our ellos, ellas, ustedes form will be tienen. In the nosotros and vosotros form, they will be regular forms of the verb. Slightly different than the venir because this is an ER verb. So tenemos and tenéis. So not all that crazy. You just got to remember that we have this stem change that occurs in these three forms, and that this jo form is very irregular. But once you've learned one of them, the other should be a cinch to learn. Just keep your eye on the fact that this is an ER verb, so it's got emos and ace, and venir is an IR verb, so it's got the emos and is endings. One last thing before we conclude this lesson. In the next lesson, we'll be looking at a number of expressions with tener. In this lesson, I just want to introduce one expression that we have with tener, which is tener que, plus an infinitive. So tener means to have, tener que means to have to. If you add an infinitive to it, then it's to have to do something. It'll always have an infinitive with it, so it'll always look like that. So for instance, tengo que estudiar means I have to study. You have to study, tú tienes que estudiar. He has to study, él tiene que estudiar. We have to study, tenemos que estudiar. Y'all have to study, tenéis que estudiar. And they have to study, tienen que estudiar. Y eso es todo. Bien, señores. Ok. A estudiar, hacer el PowerPoint y hacer la pruebita, por favor. Hasta luego. Muchas gracias. De nada.